Hello and welcome back to another episode of True Osprey. As you can tell, I'm struggling with my voice this week, so you're going to have to bear with me on that one. So, we got a very special episode today. We have got three Munster supporters giving their thoughts ahead of tomorrow's game in the playoffs. No one expected the Ospreys to get into the playoffs anyway. 2% chance to get in the playoffs, but we made it. Happy days. We got an Osprey supporter, Jake, who's a season ticket holder. He's going to be in the video as well. I'm going to be in the video first, obviously, because it's my show and I run this place. Joking. But yeah, really looking forward to watching this video myself. I haven't actually watched the videos, so it's going to be a surprise to me as well. If you are new, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And of course, enjoy the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Be on Twitter and TikTok as well. And YouTube, obviously. So yeah, thank you. And see you soon. Come on, the Ospreys. Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on.
Hi, my name is Finbar Walsh, and I'm a lifelong Munster rugby supporter. I was in Limerick for the famous All Blacks win in 1978, but was not one of the 500,000 who claimed they were in Thomond Park on the day, which had a capacity of 12,000 at the time. This year, Munster have blown fairly hot and cold, I think, playing their better rugby away. We were very lucky against Ulster this week and have yet to make a game click to perfection, which they have shown at times in their play. I think our player to watch out for will be Jack Crowley, who has played outstandingly at national level, but has not peaked yet at provincial level. A few players to watch out for are the three stalwarts of Mahani Zebo and Conor Murray, who are nearing their career ends, but playing some of their best rugby ever. It's knockout rugby, so lads, it's anyone's game, but both teams need a serious performance. I predict Munster from the previous game, and because they're at home. Sorry, lads.
Hey Ospreys fans, hey Darren. So the big game is finally here tomorrow night. What is my prediction? I actually think we can go there and do a real job on them physically. I think everyone talks about Munster. They are the defending champions. They got a proud record at home. They've won 9 on the bounce. They've got a lot of physicality. But I was looking at their squad, and there are 2 players we've got to keep an eye on, Byrne and Furlong. You take those 2 players out to their side, that leadership, they're not really the same, but they do have a lot of physicality, particularly in the pack. But I believe our forwards can match them physically. But the one issue I've got with the Ospreys is their backs. We lack physicality. And I think that is an area we have got to strengthen next year if we want to make the next level. I think if we get the ball to the likes of... I think our backs can score tries against them. But our defence is the one area I worry about, particularly after what I saw against Bulls and Leinster, how they just carved us open. And Cardiff did that as well. I think as well, we need big games from the likes of Derry Lake, Jack Morgan, Tipperick, Morgan Morris, Ratty, Ruben Morgan-Williams, Dan Edwards, Kieran, Watkin, Giles. They need massive games if we're going to win tomorrow night. And I feel as well, if I was picking my team, I would go with a 6-2 split. 6-2 split. Morse on there, Deves on there. I'd have Owen Williams on there as well for another kicking option. If I was picking my starting team, I'd take Luke Morgan out. I just don't rate him at all. He's great scoring tries, but his defence isn't up to standard. I'd have Max Nagy on the wing and a Jack Walsh at full back. Second playmaking kicking option. So yeah, that's what I would do. But apart from that, I wouldn't make any changes then.
Good afternoon, Ospreys fans. My name is Niall Collins, Munster supporter in residence. 43 years old, so I've been a Munster supporter for 43 years, pretty much. And yeah, just here just to say, look, a few words at the request of True Osprey. just about the upcoming URC quarter-final. Just to give you a few bits and pieces from a Munster perspective, and just how I can see the game going potentially and where I think it's going to be won and lost. Just before that, just a few bits on Munster's season as a whole. The classic example, not to use too many stereotypes, but the classic example of a season of two halves. On the 2nd of January, Munster were 11th in the URC, 11th. We won 4 of our first 9 URC games, and we were struggling, to be straight. We were struggling. Very slow start to the season. Awful lot of injuries. Coming off the back of winning the URC last year. Really, really slow start. And yeah, we were in big, big trouble. We were in big, big trouble. Since the start of the year, since the 2nd of January, the season has turned around completely in the URC. Really disappointing Champions Cup season, but the URC season has turned about completely. In our last 9 league games, we have won all 9. All 9. We have won 8 of those with bonus points, so 44 points out of our last 45. So in the league, Munster are purring. A lot of reasons for that. More settled side, return of a few. Ollie Jaeger came from the Crusaders, Southern Hemisphere. RG Snyman has been fit again. Backline has settled down a bit. Injuries have largely laid off, thankfully. So really, really successful second half of the season, and yeah, topping the URC going into the quarterfinals. Players to watch for Munster at the weekend. In terms of the starters, we've had a few guys this season who really, really stood up for us. Our captain, our leader, and arguably our best player this year has been Tadhg Byrne. You'll be well aware of Tadhg Byrne, obviously, from his time with the Scarlets, and yeah, all his time with the Lions and with Ireland as well. He's having an incredible season. He's playing the best rugby of his career. He's absolutely flying. A couple of guys more under the radar then. Alex Kendellen is likely to start at 7 for us. Maybe somebody you wouldn't know a huge amount about. Former Ireland under-20s captain. Really, really good player who's in the form of his life at the moment as well. Other guys as well too worth mentioning are our wingers. Calvin Nash made the breakthrough with Ireland, played I think 4 or 5 of the Six Nations games. And Shane Daly, our other winger, who was our man of the match for me at the weekend in a very, very tricky game against Ulster. Just a few bits and pieces on how Munster would like to actually approach this. What Graham Rowntree, our coach, has done over the last few weeks is he's changed things up a little bit and has gone for more of the bomb squad approach. Some of our biggest carriers, some of our most physical players, some of our most dominant guys have been consigned to the bench and tend to come on with half an hour, 35 minutes to go. The logic being that if we can hold teams for the first 45 minutes, be there or thereabouts, even if we're slightly behind, bringing these guys off the bench will be a huge, huge boost to us. And that's something I think will be huge for the weekend. Seeing how guys like Tom Ahern, Ollie Jaeger, John Hodnett, Gavin Coombs, seeing how these guys actually go off the bench, and whether the Ospreys actually have the bench to compete with guys like those. Another huge, huge piece for the weekend, and I'll talk about this more in a second, is our 2 first-choice centres have been 2 of our best players this year. Antoine Frisch, who unfortunately we're losing to France, and Alex Nankivell, who we got from New Zealand over the summer. Both of them were injured against Ulster, and if both of them are out against the Ospreys, that is something I don't doubt for 1 second that Toby Booth will be looking to target. In terms of how I think the game will go, how I think it'll be won or lost, there's that old cliche about, forwards win games and backs decide by how much. I think that's pretty much going to be true over the weekend. And the Ospreys are going to have to match Munster up front to win the game. Your line-out is going to have to be spotless. Your scrum is going to have to be very, very strong. And the Ospreys' discipline is going to have to be really, really good. As I alluded to earlier on, I think what could be a huge, huge element, I think the game will be tight at halftime. Might even be tight with 35 minutes, half an hour to go. It's whether the Ospreys have the bench to compete with the likes of Coombs, the likes of Jaeger, the likes of Ahern, the likes of Conor Murray. Guys like that coming off the bench. They were an absolute game changer against Ulster. I suspect them to have an equal impact against the Ospreys. So it's whether the Ospreys can actually match that. Where the Ospreys might have a chance, I think, is, as I said a minute ago, in the centres. If we are missing Frisch and Nankivell, we may actually end up pushing Jack Crowley out to 12. He's not a natural centre. Sean O'Brien will probably play at 13. Sean is a natural centre, but has played his best rugby this year for us on the wing. They haven't played an awful lot of time together in the centres. So, if Williams and Watkin, if that's what the Ospreys go with at the weekend, you know, there is a real possibility there. If Ospreys can get them clean ball, that they might get some joy. The other place that's a little bit of a concern from Munster's perspective is Nicky Smith, who I know you're very sad to be losing in the summer. I think he's a really good player. He's a really good scrummager. He's given us awful trouble in the past. There's a very real possibility we'll start with Stephen Archer, all 35, 36 years of him, at the weekend. And I can see Smith giving him trouble in the scrum. If Smith can give him trouble in the scrum, if the Ospreys can get parity in the other areas of the forwards and they can get some penalties off the back of that, the Ospreys have a real chance. My big question will be whether in the last half an hour, even if the Ospreys are a score ahead going into the last half an hour, whether the Ospreys can actually handle what we have to bring off the bench. Very hopeful Munster will win it. I don't think it'll be a cricket score by any means. I think there could be one or two scores in it in the end. Weather forecast is good for Friday night. There's going to be a big crowd there. Very intimidating place to play, Thomond Park. And yeah, very hopeful of Munster doing it, albeit I think it'll be a bit closer than some commentators are saying. And in fairness to the Ospreys, and in fairness to Toby Booth, with the financial challenges the Ospreys have had, getting to a quarter final is an absolutely magnificent achievement. And I fully expect the Ospreys to give us a really tough game at the weekend. Hopefully see some of you over there. Best of luck. Slán go fóill, as we say.